Hi, I'm in denial, and as Bear Grylls, famous Boy Scout and world's most prepared man, once said, being prepared is simple. You just take a dead animal of your choosing, ejaculate on its corpse, and then use the fleshy sack of meat and cum as sustenance until you're rescued. And that's how Bear was never allowed to give school demonstrations ever again. I'm sorry, Bear, that was all a lie, and I just use your name for the intent of making a bad joke. Please don't ejaculate on me and use me for sustenance. But enough about acts of bestiality in the name of survival. In this video I'll be sharing 6 ways in which you can prepare yourself for the arrival of Battlefield 2042, and seeing as though we've already covered sexual intercourse with a deceased animal, let's start with our second way of preparing for Battlefield 2042. So first up, or second if you're doing that other thing, is the perfectly rational and sensible act of faking your own death. Everyone knows that one of the gamer's most formidable foes is time itself. You can kick it, spit on it, and tell it that its mom is so fat that diabetes doesn't want to catch her, but time just won't go away. Instead, you are time's bitch. You're allotted with 24 hours each day to sleep, masturbate, eat, masturbate, work, masturbate, eat again, masturbate, work some more, masturbate, throw some commuting in there too, masturbate, and then finally you can spend whatever time is left playing video games and masturbating. So the only logical solution to this dilemma is to fake your own death, effectively reducing your activities to fit into your 24 hours down to sleeping, eating, playing video games, and masturbating. Sure, you could just ring in sick, but what is faking your own death if not a maximum effort version of calling in sick? And to really sell the illusion of actually being dead, send a suicide note to all of your close friends and family, noting that your house is not to be disturbed for the next few days because your house currently has AIDS. Once you've got your fill of Battlefield 2042 and are ready to re-emerge back into society, just do what Jesus did. I don't really know what he did, but I'm guessing it involves spiking the local water supply with a metric shit ton of LSD, so the townspeople were tripping balls and just believed that Jesus had been reincarnated as a Jew. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, I got a little lost in my own tale of bullshit, but I think you get the point. Next, you gotta shit where you sit. Inside all of us is a dirty little tryhard, and seeing as though that little tryhard is inside of us, I feel I must preach to you the intricacies of safe sex. It is a common misconception that safe sex means sex with a condom, and by that I don't mean that you're fucking a piece of latex. I mean that you're having sex with a human whilst wearing a condom on your hands. But true safe sex is done by wearing a Kevlar vest and wielding a Glock. I mean, it doesn't get much safer, does it? I also find it much easier to get women when I have a pistol in my hand. It's just, hey, get in my van, and then they're all like, okay, please don't hurt me. But that's probably just the big dick vibes that are pissing right out of me. Anyway, dirty little tryhards. Yes, yeah. When Battlefield 2042 releases, there will be those of us who spank ass, and those of us who will get anally penetrated without consent, which I don't mean to toot my own horn, is a great analogy that should be used more often in everyday conversation. For example, when remarking on someone's traumatic past life events, I could say, wow, that anally penetrates without consent, and then I'd get fired from my position as an anal rape therapist. ART for short. Digressing again, but what separates the ass spankers from the other one is their willingness to shit where they sit. Now of course you're not an elderly relative who's been dumped in a care home to enjoy their debilitating and life-limiting conditions, so I'm not expecting you to just soil yourself. We're not animals. Or old people. Instead, I'd recommend taking your favourite gaming chair and simply cutting a hole in perfect alignment to where your arsehole will be situated, and then placing a bucket under the chair. And depending on how long it takes you to curl one out, we could be talking anywhere up to an hour of additional time spent on Battlefield 2042 instead of evacuating your bowels. So yeah, work smarter, not harder. Now seems as good a time as any to just quickly mention that we've just hit 250 subscribers, so a huge thank you to each and every one of you. It is massively appreciated, and I can't wait to make some more twisted shit for you. Anyway, onwards. Next is performance enhancing drugs. Do you know the difference between first and second place? That's right, performance enhancing drugs. Some call it cheating, which is a very negative way of looking at things, whilst I, being more positive than a homosexual gigolo's HIV test, would say that it shows initiative and thus should be encouraged. You may think that Battlefield players and elite athletes with years of physical, mental and sexual training, with a lot more emphasis on the sexual training if you just so happen to be a gymnast from the Soviet Union, are quite different, but you couldn't be more wrong. In fact, it could be argued that the Battlefield player is better in every one of these disciplines. For example, the physical discipline. Currently, the world record for the heaviest deadlift sits at 501 kilograms, or just one of your mum. pretty impressive, right? But in comparison to the Battlefield player, who may at times have to carry his entire team, that is nothing. For the sake of the argument, let's just say there are another 31 players in this player's team, each weighing on average 75 kilograms. That would equal 2,325 kilograms, so yeah, your mum carrying her lunch. The mental discipline? Nothing builds mental resilience more than severely distressing and traumatic life experiences, which was my defense at my trial, but according to the judge, setting a face painting stall up but then tattooing cocks on children's foreheads was, quote, beyond evil. Exactly what the father of a child with a cock on its face would say. I demand a retrial. But anyway, my point is, the Battlefield player has witnessed many acts of non-consensual testicular sodomy, and you don't see shit like that without becoming strong mentally. Can an athlete say they've witnessed the same? I don't think so. And finally, the sexual discipline. I'm sorry, but we gamers win this one hands down. Our pants. Whilst the athletes were busy running, jumping, swimming and doing other things which sound very tiring, we were masturbating, honing our cum bending skills, hoping that one day masturbation becomes an Olympic sport, and boy, when it does, let's just say I'll be wearing one very sticky piece of precious metal around my neck. So this got a little bit away from the topic of drugs, but yeah, just know that taking drugs is good, especially if it gives you an advantage on the battlefield, so be sure to stock up on plenty of cocaine, heroin and nacho cheese Dorito dust. And remember, to avoid damaging your nose, do drugs through your ass. Next, get professional help. Whilst this deadly serious guide will allow you to get the very most out of Battlefield 2042, inevitably, there will still be moments during your time playing that may require you to concentrate on something other than Maria Folk's dump truck of an ass, such as the birth of your child, and unless that thing identifies as a PS5, it can fucking stay in there. But the thing is, I don't want to concentrate on anything other than that fat ass, and this is where cinnamon comes in very useful. And no, I'm not talking about the warming aromatic spice, I'm talking about a prostitute. Shit bucket getting full? Cinnamon. Need more Dorito crumbs to snort? Cinnamon. Just wingsuited into the side of a rock for the 7th time in 3 minutes and feel like you need to hit something hard? Cinnamon. Maybe not on this one, well, unless she's into it. You see? Now Battlefield 2042 will have your complete and undivided attention. Why do we as a society look down upon prostitutes? They offer an essential public service at an affordable price, and for the right price are apparently willing to remove your turds from a bucket under your chair. I did have to do some serious curb crawling though to find cinnamon. I guess the other prostitutes thought they were too good for my shit. Of course, as they denied me, I did as any rational and of sane mind person would do and shouted derogatory sexual slurs at them. It was all in good spirit though, and if anyone asks, I was at the bar with you at 9 PM last Saturday, and I most certainly had nothing to do with that tragic accident involving a vehicle and 12 prostitutes. We also hit a deer on the way to the bar, hence the blood. Remember that bit, it's important. Finally, is sourcing nuclear materials. Though I do enjoy eating, probably a bit too much, hence why I can no longer see my penis without the use of 3 mirrors and a small child to assist me, it can be somewhat time consuming. Time that I could be spending playing on Battlefield 2042. So what do I propose? Well, I'm glad you asked. Uranium. According to Cora, 1 gram of uranium contains 413 million calories, which based on the government recommendation for a man who needs 2,500 calories per day, would last you approximately 452.5 years. Putting that another way, you should have enough calories to last you until the release of GTA 6. Now, I can appreciate that sourcing uranium can be a little tricky, but the simplest way that I've found is to just call your country's Department of Defense, such as MI6, the CIA or the FBI, and just ask if they have any uranium that they'd be willing to sell you. Inform them that you'll only need a gram, and that you need it to be able to concentrate on committing various war crimes. Some will say no, and you'll likely end up on some kind of terrorist watch list, which is kinda cool. How many people can say that they appeared on the same list Bin Laden was on? Not many, that's how many. But then there will be some that say sure thing bud, here's 3 grams, and then you're all set. Sure, you'll get 28 forms of ass cancer, but within the next 452.5 years, you won't need to eat a thing. Think of the time you'll have saved, think of the extra time you'll be able to spend on Battlefield 2042. Profit. So yeah, what the fuck was all that? I think I really do need some kind of psychological help, but until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, let me know how you're preparing for Battlefield 2042, and subscribe for more questionable content just like this.